Hello everyone, and welcome. My name is Jared, and I'm joined by my friends Micah and Nick. Say hello, fellas.
What's good?
Today, in this video, we're going to go over a very important topic. A topic that's been asked for eons. A legendary question, typically referring to just two characters duking it out and who's stronger. Questions like who's stronger, Goku or Superman? Planning to flip this question on its head, though. All people are always asking who's stronger, and all that kind of stuff. And we have plenty of videos out there to discuss this topic, and I'm going to just show an example real quick of what that looks like. Here's iconic Mario vs. Sonic. I'm just going to look at this real quick for some of these feats. This is for Mario's list of feats. It says that he can move at Mach 375, or at least pilot something at that speed. He can also survive a 2.4 megaton explosion. I'm gonna also show you this. This character right here is an enemy that they introduced in New Super Mario Bros. Wii. It is stationary. All it does is blow clouds. This enemy, if Mario touches this combination of clouds and eyes and lips, will die. Meanwhile, he can also tank a 2.4 megaton explosion, apparently. All these who's stronger ones are always gassing them up and being like, oh yeah, they're totally this so strong. And meanwhile, this exists and Mario dies to this. So I'm thinking, how about instead of asking who's the strongest character, let's look at who's the weakest, and we can go from there to see who's maybe technically the strongest out of that logic. Basically, I'm asking, caught lacking, who's the strongest? Is the best way, I think the best way I can phrase it. And I'm doing Smash, by the way, just because that has the most characters and we can compare it among the entire roster. Doing this initially, I will say, I thought, well, this probably be easy, right? I just gotta look at, instances of them being really weak. As I went through it, I had to make this. I had to make a rules list because we'll get into it. You're going to hear me say it a lot. We're going to get into it. So I just made this. This is the rule set for this, and unless I need to adjust it, because the last rule is just saying, okay, when there's two characters next to each other, we gotta have to start comparing the two then. But for general, what the rule is for this theoretical battle, it's going to be going against this theoretical weakest enemy. Inspired by this guy. It's going to be the weakest theoretical enemy. It only does one hit, and it also dies in one hit. It's going to be on an FD stage, and the moves that these characters are going to have are from, the start of the game, right? I'm not going to have it be, they're one hit away from death, because that's literally pretty much every video game character. Caught lacking, technically, yes, you could be at 1 HP, but, I'm going to just have it be on what they start with, because otherwise it's just kind of not as fair. But with all those rules in set, I'm gonna ask you guys, what would you think would be the weakest and strongest character? I'm gonna note them and see if how close you guys get.
The weakest character, eh?
Yeah, weakest or strongest. If you can't think of one, don't worry. We can skip past it. But
I mean, I'm thinking about Omar, but that's just me.
Okay.
I would say Pichu. Pichu's probably the weakest character.
Okay, Pichu.
I might even say, Jigglypuff is tied for second.
Okay, I'll note that too.
Oh, yeah, the Wii Fit trainer. I forgot she even existed.
Okay, Wii Fit. It is just the fitness instructor. How does that...
Yeah.
Any guesses for strongest?
Well, we had some... we have some contenders for this spot.
Kazuya.
Alright, I'll put down Kazuya.
I was thinking something on the lines of Pyramithra, Sephiroth, Bayonetta, Kirby, those types of characters.
I'll just note multiple ones. I know what you're saying. I can see what your thought process is with that. Okay.
And Joker as well, yeah.
It's a hero. It's another one.
Heroes definitely a contender.
Okay, so as this is kind of showing, technically it is kind of a way to also see who's the strongest, so I'm going to go in reverse order, and again, as we get through it, we'll see also why that may be. So let's get on to the tier list, and we'll start with our weakest character, immediately revealed. It's Rob the Robot.
Oh my god, it's Rob. Yeah, it's literally a
Damn.
figurine toy.
I'll just
Oh,
show a
that is
video.
right.
This is Rob canonically strength-wise.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Let me turn down this volume just in case it's too loud. This is his first, one of the first games he's in. This is what he does canonically. Like, this is what he does if you have a toy, right? You push a button on the controller and it flashes blue, and you'll see there in the screen there it'll flash blue, and that sends signals to the robot eyes to tell it to do something. So right now it's telling it to squash that green guy, and okay, we can we can see it slowly. Slowly.
No, this is gaming.
Yeah, this is gaming in 1980, and it's just slowly. And he got it. So I think it's pretty safe to say that a toddler could be. It's a toy. Like, it is like weakest for sure. Like, and Rob doesn't even really appear in any game. So like, it's like, this is what we have to base off of, this slow ass moving toy. So weakest character canonically. Sorry, Rob. It has to be you. You're a worthless toy, but interesting piece of tech. And then the next tier list, as we're going down, we're into the NPCs. These ones are a little harder, because Miis can be shown to be strong, but, like, worst case scenario, they're oftentimes just in backgrounds of, like, the story mode, and just die instantly or get captured. It's like, it's whatever the role they need to fill, so it just kind of makes them weak. And then Dr. Mario's here, because you never play as him, and he only just administers medicine. If anything, he's the same as Mario, but the fact that he's different, I feel like, well, we put him here, but we can move him to Mario, technically, if you want to, but realistically, no, it's just he's a doctor. He's not doing any type of adventuring anymore. And the next one, Mr. Game & Watch. This one was a little tough, because there's so many Game & Watch games, but like a lot of it's just like doing tasks, like killing moles and stuff. So I'm basing it more off of the Helmet and Line games, where you just avoid things, but you don't have an attacking move. So he dies in one hit, which we'll get to the one hit tier list, by the way, but he also can't attack. So it's like, against the weakest enemy, he's not even going to be able to attack it. He's just going to be avoiding its attacks. So
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Uh-huh. Again, this is caught lacking, right? Like, we can always be like, well, technically, we can see here that in these games... Yeah, no, I'm talking when he's what is the weakest thing he's done? It's like, oh, clearly he just dies in one hit to anything. So, like, okay, and he also doesn't attack.
Caught lacking.
He has to be caught lacking. Yeah. But that's the whole premise, right? Next one is the Animal Crossing characters, because they don't attack in their games, but they have an axe that does no damage, but they also can't take damage. There's nothing that shows in the Animal Crossing universe that does damage to things, like, meaningfully. Like, you can dig holes. Chopping down trees is the most, like, aggressive thing in this game. And they don't even do damage. Yeah.
But what about the bees?
Oh, you're right! So he's even weaker. Now I'm thinking about it, is he can capture them, but he doesn't damage them. The bees are the only thing in this universe that actually do any reasonable damage to these characters. So you're right. I get,
but they're an item.
And I will say too, we will definitely go over if you guys want to make adjustments, because I was just doing a lot of research in this, and I totally forgot about that.
There's always that one little thing that you just miss.
Next one, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack on this one. But, I mean, come on. Every Zelda game,
yes.
3 hearts, no items. Link never punches in any of the games. So even if you were arguing, well, at least in one of these, none of these games of these Links, he throws a punch. Unless you're counting Tears of the Kingdom, which, you can get that as a move, apparently. But, like, you get it as a move. Starting off, you have nothing. Same thing with Breath of the Wild Link. Same thing with... Ocarina of Time Link, same thing with Wind Waker Link. They all have nothing. They just can tank the hits, but it doesn't matter if they can't even damage the enemy they're fighting. These are all, like, definitely, like, the can't do anything tier kind of in a way. Like, they're not going to attack this thing in any reasonable, like, meaningful way. These are definitely all, like, weakest. But once we get past this point, we're going to get to, like, the iconic dies in one hit tier list. All these ones, except for maybe Pac-Man can attack. It's hard to quantify Pac-Man's, like, attack, because, like, he doesn't attack, but he also bites. He bites ghosts, so, like, I think anything on this tier list we can say, yeah, well, how do you quantify damaging a ghost? Like, it's kind of hard. I mean, he does die in one hit, but also,
sure,
you can put him here, you can put in here. I think it's both fair because it's kind of like we have nothing to compare Pac-Man to with a reasonable enemy. Like with Mario, we'll have enemies. With all of these characters, we kind of could say, all right, they all die and we'll hit to something. And I need to talk about this guy right here because I feel like a lot of Sonic. I know he's a God Slayer, guys, but like, come on, he dies with no rings.
He kills himself.
He dies with no rings.
Everyone has played a Sonic game where they held right and died immediately. Like he dies in one hit. Come on,
Just one spin dash.
One spin dash off the ledge. You know, I admit that he can, but also caught lacking. Like we're saying, he's gonna die. And to further prove this point, I'm just gonna throw this in here. It's called a Tubanauts. This enemy is just a floating sphere. If you get rid of these floating spheres around it, it's just a ball. If Sonic touches this thing with no rings, he dies. Like, it's as bad as... It's as bad as this thing. It's like we see Sonic literally tank hits from gods in super form, but then if he touches a floating sphere, he dies. So, like, the disparity... Like, that's the thing about all these things is, like, the disparity is large, so... But I think it's kind of interesting to be like, okay... He does die to that, and I think that's something to be noted, you know what I mean? Like, all these characters are just kind of like, oh no, if they don't have what they need, how do they fare, you know? And we'll go on to the next tier. 2 hits, so we doubled up. All these characters are like this one, but like Peach and Rosalina always start up in their super forms in their games they're playable in. Notably, I'm thinking of like 3D World for those two, and then Wario has 2 hits in some of his games. He's invincible in some, I know, but like in Wario Land 1, he dies in 2 hits. Yoshi also dies in 2 hits in Yoshi's Story, and he's mostly invincible in his games too, so like all these characters die in 2 hits. Yeah. So it's like Yoshi's really good. Yoshi has a lot of moves, but it's like also will die in 2 hits. So it's like, well, could survive a while and has better chances. That's why as we're going, this like weakest, the strongest, right? In this sort of like category. So that's why I put him to the top. Because I'm like, Yoshi probably is the best out of all these characters, but like also dies in 2 hits.
Not by much.
And then after that, we're into the meat and potatoes. We're at the has a health bar. Let's go. All these characters have a health bar. We can get the specific ones if you want because there is a lot here, but I'll just cover the notable ones. Bowser Jr. 3 hits dead. Kirby, he typically has 6 hits in some of the Kirby games, but like hard mode, he has 3. And so does Meta Knight in the hard mode, so 3 hits. Olimar. Oh my god, Olimar had a separate tier initially just called Size Matters. And I'm like, I thought about it too much. I'm like, this seems maybe disingenuous. Like, what's the biggest enemy Olimar has fought? And that's the final boss. The final boss at Pikmin 1 is the size of Pichu, and he tanks those hits, no problem. So like, even if this theoretical enemy was the size of a Goomba, he could tank it. And since it's only going to do the weakest damage, he definitely is tanking it. So we're basing it off his health bar now, and that's pretty high. So this guy is like a dense mother, like, you know, like he survives hits. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you could, I guess you could say, well, his size, but like he survived things that are like way bigger than him. So it's like, I feel like it's a little
way bigger.
It's a little disingenuous to say he would die to something that's bigger, just for the fact that it's bigger when he survives stuff like that. At the top of this one, I just have the fighting game characters because I don't know exactly. They're definitely amongst each other. They're definitely stronger than these guys because they have a health bar and they have like energy blast and can turn into a demon. Like, okay, they're a little higher, just a little. But any characters you guys want to know about specifically why they're in their position or anything that's like confusing, or does this seem?
It seems pretty accurate, minus Yoshi.
Okay.
minus Yoshi. Yoshi dies in 2 hits.
But Inkling, though.
Inkling just dies to just a bunch of just shots from like ink, and also dies in 1 hit to water. So it's like, okay, so it depends, I guess, on the type of attack. And I don't know. I feel like it could be anywhere in this range, but it's definitely lower because it's just dies in a few ink shots.
I could also rank Little Mac a little bit lower. He dies. He could probably die in 2 hits.
He has a health bar, and he can tank a few hits. Like Pit has like guaranteed 7 hits. I'm pretty sure.
But if he can't recover though, that's the only way I'd put him lower.
That's not canonical. He only fights in the boxing ring.
Canonical.
And also, with the established rules, it doesn't matter. It's just an open plain area. So he'll be fine. He doesn't have to worry about recovery. He's just to worry about boxing. Which, you know, I'm surprised you're not asking about this character here.
I was wondering about that character.
Before.
I mean, they're the same character, but This is why.
I would say skill issue.
30
no.
health! Samus,
Okay.
why? So it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And also, I'm counting it as
I
power
see that.
suit because I had to count it lacking, and then Zero Suit Samus is basically the same in a way. And having comparable to Little Mac, yeah. And the Dark Samus, I mean, we can move this one later because I actually kind of don't know. I'm just counting it off of like the same stats as what this image is because it's supposed to be a perfect clone of Samus, but like it's Varia suit for sure, so it's at least
Yeah.
double. So like, I'll
Oh,
give it
yeah.
that, you know.
I definitely like it because
for-
of Banjo being where he's at.
He has 6 hits. He dies in 6 hits,
Good.
so yeah, he's kind of lower there too. And I know I'm basing this a lot on the health bar kind of thing. Like, yeah, it's health bar, but also Samus doesn't have the approach. She has his lasers, and I agree with that. But
Mega Man.
Mega Man has a ton of health, man. He has
Yeah,
so
it's a
much
ton.
health. The health bar is massive. Like, he has that big of a health bar. That's why he's he can tank something. You know what I mean? So that's why he's so high up.
Samus should be moved up, actually.
Oh, what am I not thinking
I'm just now remembering how many times she just resurrects herself with the Phazon suit.
But caught lacking, she didn't have the Phazon suit in this game. Technically.
Yeah.
I don't know. Where would you think
Well,
then?
In that game.
Dark Samus is literally in the Metroid Prime. Just
I know.
with
Spoilers! The
exact
game is
power suit.
the game's 20 years old.
I know. Don't remind me.
I guess the only other one that I can think of, these characters should technically be NPC because I can't really find anything canonical on them.
Zelda should be.
Technically.
I mean, I'm counting Hyrule Warriors because this is the only thing I really have on them, and that's a lot of health too. So it's like, all right, fine, you know.
Okay, yeah.
That's why they're there. But I know it's not canon. But like, what else? And I know that they're decently strong. But it's like, okay, how much can they tank? And these ones we can quantify. This one I'm like, whatever. I'm doing Hyrule Warriors. But
It seems like a fair approach.
that's health bar, and we're now into the quirky tier. A duck and dog. How? We have to assume that this is just a regular duck and dog, okay? So they can take hits, and with a lot of these tiers that we're gonna get into, they should be mixed together. But I just have them organized because duck and dog could technically be like in here, or maybe even no, it probably is like about here somewhere. Like definitely weaker than some of these, but like, I mean, Pit's gonna die if Duck and Dog bites Pit 7 times, he's dead. A regular dog is gonna be able to survive it. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay. And it gets sticky in this part because it's like, okay, I gotta kind of compare it to other characters, but it's still against the weakest enemy. I mean, it's a regular duck and dog. How to quantify that? After that, these human-esque ones. I know you were saying Joker, and there may be something I don't know about Persona, but from what I know, caught lacking, it's just Joker in the real world, so he's just a high schooler. So we have a regular high schooler, a fitness trainer, and a guy that's in the future that has a gun holster. So, and we don't know, and Falcon doesn't even have confirmed canonical pyrokinesis in a lot of cases, so I'm like, I'm not gonna count the Falcon Punch as even being a thing that he has, because he technically might not have it.
About that.
Yeah, like it's only canon, I think, in the anime that they had for it. Like in like the comics they had in the first game, he just was, I'm a bounty hunter, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like that's a strong human being, but like, and like, yeah, and these characters again would probably be like here. I mean, these guys probably be like at least on par, if not stronger, even though they potentially have less health. They have a set health bar, but you know, that's why it gets kind of messy. We're getting towards the end here, as we see we're color coding towards red. And we finally have the one that was the most headache for me, the RPG tier.
Yeah.
I hate this tier.
Sora.
Yes, I was wondering.
RPG is just,
Pokemon trainer?
Yeah, listen, like, I actually have these ranked on, like, you know, like, weakest RPG character, the strongest, and right, you can filter them in how you think seems more fit, but, like, I made a spreadsheet, guys. I tried, because it's an RPG, so you have to consider, like, okay, so there's critical hits, there's misses, there's all this stuff. I initially tried to do it like the other ones, with HP, and I did that, right? Jigglypuff has base 115 HP, Mewtwo has 106. You're not telling me that Jigglypuff at level 1 is stronger than Mewtwo. That is not, so I'm like, it's an RPG. I have to consider it. I just tried going, okay, basic stats. HP, attack, magic, all that stuff. I just did a total. And I'm like, all right, this is the number. And, like, it looks pretty fair, but even, like, Ness and Lucas, they're the same series. Ness's base stats totals at level 1 is 48. Lucas is, like, what, 75? Like, it's the same series. What happened between Mother 2 and 3? Like, they're both level 1 with these stats. Like, what? So, these are just rough estimates, and I feel like this is kind of fair, because, like, okay, a level 1 swordsman versus a wild animal with magical elemental powers, yeah, I think the elemental creatures win, and Shulk and Cloud Strife, he starts off, like, in Final Fantasy VII just as already just really strong, so it's like, he's level 1.
Really strong.
I mean, and even with his stats, like, you can tell by his stats here, like, yeah, no, that's fair. Actually, I don't think he's even level 1 with his stats in Final Fantasy VII when you first see him. Yeah, like, he's like, oh, look at this. Like, it's pretty bulky. And I'm like, I think that's fair for Cloud, So, and the only reason why Pokemon Trainer's the top is because it's 3 Pokemon. Like, I had to combine all 3. Because it's like, yeah, it's 1 Mewtwo at level 1, but then it's like 1 level 1. Well, actually, it'd be a level 5 Squirtle, and then like a level whatever evolves into Ivysaur, and then I end up level 30s for Charizard for minimum stats. So, when they're evolved, it's a little different. But one big omission that I maybe you've noticed is that there's the big boys. There's some big boys that are missing. The boss characters. These ones, I don't know. Bowser, on multiple occasions, has been shown against a weaker minion. If he just walks into it, they die. The only thing that's really been shown to work on him is like a fire flower. Like in Mario 64, punches don't work on Bowser. Like you have to pick him up and throw him into a bomb just to deal with him. King K. Rool has like invincible body armor, and then Ridley. Imagine
he has all types of things going on with him.
Like he's definitely up here, and maybe I need to adjust it later. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking like a lot of the level 1 Ness is gonna get destroyed by Ridley, in my opinion. Like he's gonna try, but it's Ridley, man. Like I don't know.
Ridley, yeah, and then I think this is a good placement for him.
Yeah, I mean Kraid would be lower technically, but no.
Kraid would be lower, actually.
Yeah, but he's not playable because he's too big.
Yeah, he's too big.
What term is thick?
Oh yeah.
Lastly, it's just these characters. Listen,
yeah.
I don't.
That's what I thought.
I don't know how to rank Bayonetta. I don't know enough about the Bayonetta series. Maybe Micah, you can confirm this.
Bayonetta is since 3 dropped, she is definitely one of the strongest characters.
The only comparable enemy that I can think of is this is their Goomba. They're angels.
That is their Goomba. Yeah.
It's like okay, okay. Well,
in each game, the Goomba-esque mob changes.
You don't even have a health bar. Yeah, there's Sonic Rings.
Yeah, there are some points where she is just literally invincible.
This is like watching, the Warriors games right now, but it's just her basic game, and it's like, and she just has witch time. She has all these things. Like she doesn't even have a health bar. Like how do I quantify this?
She has that evasion thing where she turns into bats. I forget what it's called.
This theoretical weakest enemy is not even as strong as this enemy, and she's just mopping the floor with grabbing it by its leg. Like how do I quantify anything here? I'm like,
she kind of just destroy gods on multiple planes at once.
That's why I have Palutena, a goddess. I think, I don't know if Bayonetta could. I mean, Bayonetta I think spot gods. She's like Kratos.
Bayonetta could she will kill.
I think actually now that we're I'm thinking about it, maybe they might be the same tier list. All those Kid Icarus stands are probably crying right now, which is fine.
Well, in the recent game, she killed something which I think is stronger than God.
well, there you have it. But caught lacking though. When she's at her lowest of lows, she's still like Bayonetta. Like this is the start of Bayonetta 1.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I? Okay, this is the start. Like caught lacking, you're gonna die still. And then we have Sephi here, who destroys for sure multiple gods. Like I know that. And like,
Yeah.
oh god, and like, there's not even stats on him for the RPG tier, so he's just here. Like, you know what I mean?
He is his own entity.
And the only reason why Ganon is stronger, because within canon, no mortal weapon can hurt Ganondorf except for, very specifically, light arrows and the Master Sword. So Link still is shit out of luck when it comes to fighting Ganondorf.
Yeah.
And only these two, actually not even these two, this one is the only one that can do any damage to Ganon here.
Yeah.
So it's like, alright, even Sephiroth fighting Ganondorf, could Sephiroth harm him? Like, I don't think. He's
Probably.
technically invincible, though, because he can't be harmed. Can Sephiroth produce anything that's similar to a light arrow or, like, a Master Sword?
I forget what it's called, but yeah.
Oh, so he can wield something that's bathed in, like,
What is
holy
that
lights?
called? It's like the life stream.
Oh, like
Right.
mana.
Yes, pure mana.
Is that comparable to, like, light energy left by the gods that created the realm, in a sense, in the
Yes.
Final Fantasy? Okay.
Actually, yes.
Okay.
Actually, yes.
Sorry, Ganon. You get slain for sure.
Actually, yes, the life stream is a primordial source of, like, life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now I'm thinking about. You're right. I'm thinking about Final Fantasy. I've only ever played the
Very
remake.
Interesting. I forgot about that.
I've only ever played the remake, so my knowledge on Sephiroth is a little more limited. At least I know the sequels are coming, but you know.
And like the live stream is like a place before you live.
It's an afterlife. I'm pretty sure that's what it's like.
No.
Oh, what?
No, before life.
Oh. Okay.
It's a before life. Is what it's called.
Interesting. I hope when the remake comes out, they explore that a bit more, because I
Oh.
definitely am a fan of like
Oh.
how the remake handles things.
Oh, it's guaranteed for that game.
That's coming out
That's
soon.
a huge part of it. I know, that's so weird.
But that's the tier list. Just kidding. These screws, I can't. Oh my god.
See, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
doing this right. I'm like, okay. I'm looking up these stats. I only got 27 attack for this thing. They gave me percentages. What do I do with percentages with these characters? Like, what percentage on
No
defense? So I'm like, okay, they're the only characters I don't know. It could be an RPG. I'm thinking it probably technically is RPG characters, but because they're supports, I can't put them anywhere. And by that logic, if they're supports, does that make them NPCs? But no, that doesn't, because they are definitely better than the NPCs that are in this NPC tier list. So, yeah, that's.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you technically don't play them. It's so weird because they're playable in Smash, but in their original games, no. They're just the drives or something.
They're just supports. They're character supports
Yeah.
from what I've read.
Yeah.
So like, you know,
Yeah, no, like they're basically funneling their powers into like their holders, like their Grex.
exactly. Yep. That's from what I've heard as well. But
So actually, yeah, they can't really be quantified, but they're in a tier of their own.
yeah, because it's like, how do you quantify that against something else? It's like they're just clearly supports. You know, it's like ranking a sword. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it in this tier list, like, okay, if this was a sword,
like ranking a weapon.
yeah, or like actually, well, I would no, it's like a sword, because I wouldn't even say like a computer program like that, like a robot. Like, no, it's definitely more
Yeah,
just a weapon itself. That's how it's in canon, at least.
Their weapon.
Yeah, this is pretty much it. I guess the only other thing that I can think to note is that I'm counting, like, I can be harsher on some of these. Like Mario, I'm counting for the main Mario series, but if I'm counting like Donkey Kong, technically Mario can attack in that one, and neither can Luigi.
Mario can attack. Yeah.
But I'm honestly, I think counting Super Mario Brothers makes more sense, in my opinion.
We're just using like their main source.
Yeah, I'm counting main series games mostly.
Yeah. Yeah, we're using the main source material here.
But yeah, and you guys, any different placements you guys think these should move? Anything that you're like, no, actually Samus has super whatever and should be S tier? Like, are you guys like, well?
Dark Samus should be
like
moved to boss character.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know anywhere? I'm thinking somewhere in here.
is
maybe
above K-Roll.
I'm okay.
Lower than the winner.
Okay, that seems fair. Nick, you got
What about Bowser Jr. though?
he dies in 3
Jr.
hits.
He dies
Yeah.
in 3 hits, right? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
he
so
takes
that
more
could
hit
be,
to
like, above
fireball.
Yoshi. He could be above Yoshi, but he doesn't deserve to be in health bar status.
I think he should be in boss 2, and then I'm thinking about it because technically you does
You
stop
know
in.
what? Shadow Mario. He was Shadow Mario once.
That's
Very
true. That's
That
true.
is so true. That is so true. Okay.
And in recounting Sunshine, that means that he technically minimally 8th health bar for a clone of Mario. But even then, like, in New Super Mario Brothers, if you hit him with Fire Flower, that's a weaker attack. It'd take more hits. So,
Although in this new Mario game, I don't know.
It's a different form of Bowser Jr.
that's what Daisy was here because it's just like, I have to base it off of Mario Run, and I
You
hate
know
basing
what?
off of mobile games.
No, we actually have something new to base it off for Daisy. Now.
I know.
It's crazy.
Well, I don't know how Mario Wonder starts. Do you start in super form or do you start in small form? And I think you start in small form, so it's
I
like...
think you're still in small form.
So dies in 1 hit. And that would make...
Yeah.
In the new Mario game, that would bump these two... this princess down, too. Technically. It hasn't come out yet, so for now, Peach is strong, but we'll see in Mario Wonder if this changes here. If she gets nerfed and caught lacking more so. But yeah, I maybe Kazuya could maybe move, but you know, like I was saying,
I think
these
he
can
where he's at.
okay, and like I said, I think these ones definitely like a mix in between. I just have it this way to look more clear.
Yeah. They some of them move back and forth.
And okay, also I'm noticing now DDD is only here because he takes chip damage in like the hard mode.
Yeah.
Like Kirby has like a set like he dies in 3 hits in like his hard mode. He can take chip damage, and I'm like, okay, so he takes more than like a few 3 hits. So it's like, all right, you know.
I mean, he is a playable character.
Yeah, that too. That honestly, being playable in a video game nerfs you typically. I find.
Yeah.
So you know, it's funny. I mean, I guess I could count Bowser's playable appearances, but like I'm thinking like what Super Paper Mario and Bowser's Inside Story, like it's still pretty strong.
Yeah. Pretty strong.
Clapping? Or are you just happy that I'm talking about Bowser?
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess there's no other any other questions, anything that want me to explain, or are we all? I think we're all satisfied with this.
I'm satisfied.
I think I'm actually satisfied. Yeah.
Yes. Well, but with that, that's the end of the video. Thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah.
Bye bye.